Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Whizbang's Workshop card review, and we're finally starting on some class cards with Warrior. Getting some pretty crazy mech stuff, a new weapon. We'll review all those cards, and as always, if you want to win some of these cards, we have a mega bundle giveaway going on. 3 mega bundles, 2 regular pre-orders out of my pocket to enter that giveaway. Like and comment on the video, linked in the description below. Be subscribed to the channel, and every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle, so hit that sub button. Make me go broke. So yeah, we got some new Warrior cards, starting off with a new Taunt Minion. We're gonna make Taunt Warrior work. Well, maybe it's not about the taunt in particular. The Testing Dummy, a 6 mana, 4/8 taunt, Death Rattle, deal 8 damage, randomly split among all enemies. So that's 8 damage that can go face. If there's no other minions on the board, this is 8 mana damage to the face. And we already know the legendary Dr. Boom can bring back a mech that costs 5 or more, and it'll attack, and this could die and deal another 8 damage on top of it. So you can bring this back. It's a really pretty thick taunt minion too. So you gotta kill this and then take a bunch of damage on top of that. Seems like a very frustrating minion. Pretty decent, honestly. And if that like mech archetype is going to work, I think this is going to be one of the cards that really puts it together. Maybe not the 5-drop we saw earlier that gives you like boom bots, but this just seems really good to me. And you do have the taunt synergies. Maybe it's like a hybrid taunt mech deck, right? Like you can hand buff this and make this even bigger too. There's a lot of potential for this card. Plus there's a weapon that goes with this later. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 in standard. I think this mech deck could be a thing. And just as a standalone card, it seems really solid. That's a lot of damage. 8 is nothing to sleep on top of a pretty darn big taunt minion. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 in standard. In wild, it's probably too slow, blah, 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 all that. I'll give it a 2, but I don't know, maybe Boomsday, the boom ship is gonna become a thing there. Who knows? Next, we have a really cool looking spell here. Wreck 'em and Deck 'em, a 3 mana epic spell for Warrior. You choose a friendly mech. So you need the friendly mech on the board. It could be that taunt we just looked at. You then summon a copy of it, and that attacks a random enemy, then dies. So you could get that mech that we just looked at, right? Get it, the 4/8 taunt, it hits something, then it deals 8 damage. What's important to note though, it'll go into your res pool, right? Now that, you know, you could revive a mech with the Boom legendary, this will, all of a sudden you got 2 that'll come back, or you can play the one that gives you boom bots. It does require that minion to be on the board, but it's relatively cheap for a copy effect, right? Like, and the minion does die and all that. It's obviously a strict build around card, but to give yourself some more mechs that deal damage, some more mechs for your res pool, it might just make the cut. Plus this could hit your custom Zilliacs, and maybe you're shuffling more of those into your deck too, right? There's the possibility of that. Seems pretty decent. It seems all right, but again, it's a dead card in your hand unless you have a friendly mech on the board, right? It's very much a later game card, and you need to hit something of significant value. It's not worth it just to slap it onto some little tiny dumb mech, right? So I'll give it a 3. I think Mech Warrior could be a thing, and I think this can be a part of it. And in Wild, again, I'll give it a 2 because I think it's a little bit too slow, but maybe like Mine Warrior will be a thing. Let's get another Naval Mine. Oh no. Next, we have a new Warrior weapon, a 4 mana War Axe Boom Wrench, a 4 mana 3/2 weapon, but it's a miniaturized weapon. That's right, it's not just minions, there's a mini weapon. Death Rattle. Trigger the Death Rattle of a random friendly mech. So that one we took a look at, again, the one that spawns boom bots, whatever the Death Rattle is, it will get triggered by this, and then you get a 1 mana 1/1 Boom Wrench that does the same thing. And what's interesting to note about this card, if I have 5 mana, I play my Boom Wrench, I immediately get the 1 mana 1, I can swing, deal 3, I could just equip the 1 mana Boom Wrench and activate the Death Rattle. I'll break the weapon, activate the Death Rattle, or I just equip the 4 mana version, equip the 1 mana version, get that Death Rattle right away, and then I play this right away after, or swing right away, I could get double Death Rattle for 5 mana. That could be a lot of damage. If you're looking at that taunt with the 4/8 taunt, that could be 16 damage if it's on the board for 5 mana. And then it dies again on top of that. So it's a pretty crazy Death Rattle activator. Rogue has typically been the class to have cards like this, except it's like Death Rattle for everything. And we know that that's been really good. Again, a card, I don't want to sleep on this mech package. It seems decent. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5 as well. In standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild. The only thing again is this card is like, if the mechs aren't good, this card's useless. It's one of those annoying cards that has to really work with a Death Rattle friendly, Death Rattle mech, right? You can't use this for anything else. You're not playing this for any other deck. So kind of, I don't know, these whole force packages have always been kind of annoying for that reason, but it does seem like a really powerful way to activate some of those pretty busted Death Rattle strategies. And then lastly, we really always gotta make Mech Warrior or not Mech Warrior, always gotta make Taunt Warrior work somehow. And it almost never does, but hey, this has got to do the trick, right? We have Quality Assurance, a 2 mana spell. Draw 2 Taunt Minions. And this might not necessarily just be a Taunt Warrior card, because if you're playing that mech deck, you really want to draw your specific mech cards that will activate your synergies, whether it's the copy spell, whether it's Boom himself, your weapon. You want to draw those taunts with Death Rattles, and this is a great way of doing it. You could play other taunts as well. I believe if you build your Ziliax to have taunt, it will draw that. That just seems decent. 2 mana draw 2 is good. That's always good in Hearthstone. 2 mana draw 2 is basically always seen play unless it draws your opponent 2 cards as well. Then sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, there's enough good taunt minions in these taunt decks or these mech decks that absolutely I'm playing this card. It could go into multiple decks. It could go into a Highlander deck that just runs a few taunts that you want to rip. It's nothing sexy, it's nothing crazy, but it is absolutely a card that I see being a meta spell in multiple warrior decks. And I think mechs in particular really need it to really draw those specific Death Rattle mechs that a lot of these cards seem to be really catered towards. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 in standard and a 3 out of 5 in wild, even though, and it's even cost, right? Like maybe you want to play even taunts or something in even warrior or whatever. It's just really good. It's a draw 2 that draws specific cards you want to run in multiple archetypes. I don't see how that's going to be particularly bad. And also warrior doesn't have typically the best card draw options, although they've been getting a lot better lately. So yeah, I think these are really solid warrior cards. We have another reveal, I think, from Mark later today, so we'll review those. So anyways, let me know what you think about the cards in the comments down below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.